Can everybody shout hey yo to Mrs. Couch Potato? She's in her own world in the state of San Diego. Drives a 98, her wage of mine is way low. Pop's little girl, but he ain't too proud to say it. On I saying how the hell I'm gonna stop her? Can you tell me am I ever gonna stop her? Now that she don't wanna be copper, so can you tell me how the hell I'm gonna stop her? But she don't really show that she be getting high just to balance out the lows. Daddy probably tell her, baby, that ain't how it goes. But she know daddy be mad, only when the daddy knows.
Hey friends, for those who are new here, hi, my name is Kevin and I am a second year studying health science at Queen's University. For those who are interested in applying to this program, I'm here to break down my application and my thought process during my time of applying. But I'm not doing this as a suggestion that you should emulate everything I did in attempt to get into Queen's Health Science, because at the end of the day, everyone's path to success will be kind of unique, and the people on the other side of the table just wants to see that you're a unique person who has some sort of unique interest. So I've broken down the application process into two basic factors. You got the objectives and subjectives, which are your grades, and then you got the essays and wow factors, which is pretty much your sub-app. Pretty much, I thought it doesn't really make a lot of sense for you to move up the block unless you have a good base foundation first. For example, if you don't have good objective measures of competitiveness like your grades, then it wouldn't make a lot of sense for you to move up the ladder and for the admissions to really take your sub-app that serious. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, I've met a cutoff at 75 or 85%, whichever one that is, but you gotta remember you're competing against like 5,000 other applicants who, well, like a lot of them will probably have 99% averages, right? And you only have 240 spots, so you're gonna want to be in the 90% mark in order to have a decent chance. Like, yeah, I've heard the odd two people who got in with like high 80 averages, but like they must have wrote a really good essay or something like that. Like they must have had a nice wow factor. Okay, now for me, I didn't actually have the greatest grades at the beginning of high school. You can see it right here. But what I did do at like my grade 11 and 12 was that I took some bird courses such as healthcare and law in order to compensate for the lack of grades I had at the beginning of high school. Now this ultimately got me, I think, like around 96% average for me to get accepted, like when I got accepted. I think it's better for you to take courses that you know you can get like the 99s and 100s in than compared to like an easy bird course that is all project based, because it also really depends on what teacher you have. Like some teachers will be like, oh, like I don't believe in 100s because, you know, in projects you can always do better, right? Which is kind of bullshit. But what I mean here is that it's kind of useless for you to take mark booster course that you can't really get like a really high mark in. Well, I mean high mark, I mean like the 99s and stuff, because it won't actually boost your grades that significantly if you get like a 95, right? Like if your average is already like in like the high 80s or like low 90s, getting a 95 in a grade won't do anything, and that won't give you the wiggle room you need um, in your hard science classes, just in case you like if you bomb like a unit test or like you bomb the project. And yeah, that's my tip for that. Now for the thing that all of you probably wants to hear me talk about, which is my supplementary essays. Now for my year, the two prompts I chose were describe a transformative experience that led to a better understanding of yourself or others, and what is important to you, and why is it important to you. Now I can't remember what the third prompt was, but those are the two I chose because I thought they were the most general and gives me the most wiggle room to write. Now before I got into writing my sub-app, I did some research on YouTube to look at what Ivy sub-apps, like what do they write about. I also went on Reddit, which I found was pretty useful because there's also a lot of general trends that you can see when writing these kind of sub-apps. Now this led me to realize there are three like ideas that kind of goes along these applications. So the first is self-growth, and the second is like a personal hardship story, which also kind of leads to self-growth, and then the last one is just like something funny that shows character. Since I was limited to 2,000 characters for each of my essay prompts, I chose to write about self-growth for both of them. Now for the one that's describe a transformative experience that led to a better understanding of yourself or others, now it's gonna be sound cringe, but I wrote about my time on the national rifle team and how this old man named Earl changed my perspective on facing obstacles in life. And how it's actually just used to test our character. To be honest, I wouldn't say this was my best essay compared to all the other sub-apps I wrote during my year of applying to universities. But if I could have gone back, I probably would have chose to write about like the cultural differences that I faced after immigrating to Canada and how that has reflected upon me. For my second essay, which was about what is important to you and why is it important to you, I wrote about how Chinese hot pot ingredients are actually directly related to quality relationships. Now, I'm not going to go into the details on how I wrote about that because it's going to make this video way too long. But if there's enough interest, I'll just make another video of me reading those essays. Overall, in my opinion, I think for these essays, it is very important that you kind of write a story instead of flexing about like, oh, what you have done in life. Like, use your symbolism, metaphors, and stuff to compare like societal differences that you've seen in your life and how it has impacted you. You know, that might work pretty well for these essays because it shows omissions, how you develop self-growth or stuff like that. Like, make sure you have a falling action, like rising and falling action. If you can take anything from this video, I'd say that what makes a really good essay is after you read that essay to your friends and family, they should feel like they're in like a TED talk. You know, if you can make them reflect upon their like life decisions or like give them also self-reflection, then I say you did a pretty good job. Overall, this is what I did to prep for my application. I hope this video will be kind of useful for your journey in applying to programs that requires a sub-app. If you have any questions and stuff, I have links on my socials down below. You can always contact me through there. And I guess comment below if you really want to see me read my sub-app. And I guess that's all for me. Alright, bye.